don't you hate it when you get a product and you've gone beyond the 30 days of warranty to send it back to Amazon or some other website where you've gotten it? Well, hold on there. I've got 30-day experiment on just exactly what you need to know before you buy the Jabra Elite 7 Active Series. In addition, I have a bonus at the end where I reveal how to get support from Jabra when you need it. Maestro, roll the intro. And welcome to another episode of What the Tech. I'm Rolando, the founder of Global Tech, which brings you this podcast of What the Tech, where we talk about business trends as well as office technology that we review. And joining me at this hour, over here in this square where I should be pointing to, is my friend, colleague, Dave Kelly.
Wow, Rolando, I am totally looking forward to this long-term test that you did. I know that you really put these earbuds through the gauntlet. So today we're stepping out of the lab. We're going beyond the standard unboxing video because we want to demonstrate real-life, long-term user experience of these Jabra Elite 7 active earbuds.
That's right.
From streaming audio, making phone calls, the wearability. You know, we've put these all to the test, and I think the viewers will be surprised with the results. And like you said, Rolando, make sure that they stay till the end so that they can learn how to work with Jabra if they need any type of product support.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, listen, it's been about a month, right, since we did that first 7-day test.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, I've been surprised with these little earbuds can and can't do. And I think people want to know, if they want to use it as their everyday their everyday earbuds, will it work for that? Will it work for work? I'll let you know and let you in on the inside scoop. So without further ado, let's jump right into some of the footage. Well, you know, for those folks that did not get to see the first crack that we did at this, which was we did a 7-day experiment, and we got such an overwhelming response, Dave, from all of the stuff that we put out for that 7-day experiment, that we decided to make this into a 30-day experiment. And what you're looking at right now is the unboxing that we did, and we had some fun with it, going full speed, double speed. I don't know, Ori, how fast that was, double or triple speed that we went on the unboxing. Oh, we did a 10x. Oh my God! And we brought you that 7-day. And here's some highlights, so that if you didn't see that first 7 days, you know, I took it around, Dave. Went on the trails. I love going on trails. You know, and around here, we're fortunate enough to have some great historic trails to walk around, and you know, nature. And I like being out and about. And I know that a lot of people use earbuds for being outside, whether it's jogging, hiking, listen to that music, listen to that podcast, as well as working out. And so we have some restrictions here where I live, so I couldn't take it into the gym and do some of that, but I did what I could being outdoors in the car. People use hands-free devices. And so if you want to catch all of the entirety of this first 7 days, links below. We will point that out to you. We have the entire episode if you want to see that. And we, on the first 7 days, we discovered a major flaw, which is what you just saw there, Dave, is that there is no, as of today, there is no multi-point capability. But I'm told that there is a firmware upgrade, and I have more information for you at the end of this show about that, as well as the Jabra support thing that we talked about earlier.
And for those that may not know, multi-point connectivity is where you can take a Bluetooth headset. Sometimes it's a DECT headset, but in this case, Bluetooth device, and have it connected to a cell phone and your desk phone, or your cell phone and a tablet, because a lot of people are doing that. They're kind of juggling between different things. It may not be kind of a deal breaker for a lot of people. You know, sometimes just having that single point to one device makes it nice and easy. I'll tell you though, earbuds have, for me, my earbuds have turned into my car keys. If I leave the house and I don't have them, I run back inside and I grab them. I don't know if during shutdown and, you know, mask mandates, it was kind of like I don't want to be social with people anymore. So you put them in. If you jumped into the store, you had your mask on, you do your shopping. There's no reason to interact. I do think it's rude though if you don't take your earbud out when you're checking out of the grocery store itself. But I think everything else is free, fair game. I do love walking around listening to music in public, and it just helps me stay within my own element.
Absolutely, Dave. And somebody's trying to, I'm just seeing somebody's trying to watch our LinkedIn Live. That's what I'm looking at below. So I just want to let you know, if you are on LinkedIn, what you've got to do is go to my profile, Rolando Rosas, and you'll be watching this. So if somebody else is trying to watch it, you go into the LinkedIn Live under my profile. You'll be able to see the stream as soon as you get to the profile. And Ori, what we could do is let John, well, he's there. So why don't we put the link of the live on there if we can. So yeah, you know what? I've got a link to it. Just give me a second. Hey, we like all of our fans to watch. So I've got a link. I'm going to put it here in our own internal chat, Ori, and then you can. And we. Oh, from the from. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the comments. Here we go. Here is the link to the live. I'm posting it so you can see it. And that's going out now to all of our channels. And Brian, hey, thanks for joining us today. I've got the Jabra 7 right here, and we're going to talk about it. Feel free to drop in your questions as you're watching today, because there's a lot to share. So, Dave, let's jump right into. So we left off right around day 7, right? Then we pick up around from day 8 to 30 to today, and that's where we've got this next piece that we want to show you. So as I'm going through this, there's some updates that I provide, so like day 11, day 15, and 20 and 30. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to show you something that I came across on day 11. Ori, roll that footage.
All right, y'all, it's day 11 of my 30-day experiment using the Jabra Elite 7 earbuds. So I have to give you this update because there's a bug that I found. Basically, when I was using WhatsApp and had to go into Google Meet, or from Google Meet to WhatsApp, or even from Zoom to another app like WhatsApp, my earbuds stopped working. I got no audio. And I'm using a Google Pixel 5a phone. So I found that strange because that hasn't happened. And I've used a collection of Bluetooth over the years. And I use a Bluetooth when I go out the door and get in the car with my cell phone. So I thought maybe there's something wrong with the phone. So I checked out. I've got my latest firmware on the phone. It had not performed an update in a while, so it wasn't the phone. Then I checked on the Jabra app to see if I have the latest firmware. And sure enough, I have the latest firmware on the Jabra app. So then what I also did just to check to see that I didn't mess something up on the phone itself, I grabbed 2 other Bluetooth headsets. And guess what? Both of those Bluetooth headsets worked fine in a similar test. And so the conclusion here is that there is a bug with the Jabra Elite 7 when it comes to switching between these 2 apps on this Google Pixel 5a phone. I haven't tested it with other phones, so I don't know. Check out my additional updates. I'll check to see if that's the case. But what I did was try to look for a fix, and I did find one. And it's not pretty, but it works. Take your earbuds, put them back in the charging case for a few seconds, for about 5 seconds, close it up, and then open it back up. And now you're able to connect back to your phone, and the next time the earbuds do work. Otherwise, they will not work at all, period, when you experience this bug. So I'll keep testing, I'll keep digging in, and I'll report back to you when I find more info.
All right, Dave, there you go. That's day 11. And we do have an update since I recorded that, but I want to leave it to the end regarding that bug that I found. And some thoughts around that and how to also resolve that. I've got some updates from Jabra on that. So I don't want to steal the thunder that we have for the end of the show, but did you have any thoughts on that before you jump into day 15, Dave?
So I just want to peel that back a little bit and make sure that we understand the experience that you have. So you have the earbuds paired up to your Google mobile phone. you're using Zoom. You're in a Zoom meeting.
That's correct.
From there, you want to make a phone call using WhatsApp, which is on the same Google device. And it won't connect into the WhatsApp. It's locked into the initial. It sounds like it's locked into the initial application that you were using.
Right, and in the first time this happened, it was on a WhatsApp call that was coming in to me. It's actually my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, mom. And you know, moms have a way of getting to you and call you, and it's not always pretty, and it's not always at the time you want it to. So all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm not hearing any audio on the WhatsApp. So I thought something's going on. So I tried to switch back to Google Meet to see if maybe that would. So no, I couldn't hear it, nothing, and I couldn't go back and forth. Nobody could hear me on Google Meet. Nobody could hear me on WhatsApp. So I was like, what? And then I couldn't hear anything. So I tried to call just the office, and when I called the office, nobody could hear me either. So I figured something else is going on. A regular call on the mobile. This was on my mobile phone, and so I got back. I went back home, put the earbuds back in the case. It reset itself, and it started working again.
I'm going to call that Bluetooth purgatory. It was paired. Yeah, it's funny. You were paired.
It was paired, and that was the crazy part. It was paired, and I wasn't getting any audio while I'm paired.
Yeah, that audio path got suspended somewhere.
Yeah, it got hung up. So it's very possible in this case, if we're let's put up a nerd alert. Ori, we haven't done that in a while. All right, so as Ori gets ready to put up that nerd alert, just give me nerd alert. Look,
Should put on the glasses right now.
Wait a minute. Hold up. There you go. Nerd alert.
Oh yeah.
So nerd alert for everybody out there. Why does this happen? You know, when you're talking Bluetooth devices, you have different things that are happening on the Bluetooth device itself, in this case, the earbud. You have a multitude of different implementations on the mobile side. And what you have, and then not to even talk about internally on the operating system itself. So you have 3 different potential layers, more, but essentially 3 different layers where things can go wrong. Now, if this firmware is in conflict with a particular app, because it's not able to read that app, you get problems. If this device, being the earbuds, let's say you're on an iPhone 15, you know, iPhone 15 comes out right away and it may not work because this particular device's firmware is set for the iPhone 13 and 14 and anything below that, and you get bugs when that happens. So a lot can go wrong with Bluetooth, and over the years, we've fielded lots of questions around that, and we also have a bunch of Bluetooth videos that we've done as well. If you're curious or you need some assistance on that, and we can help you out if you have some other questions there. But Dave, a lot can go wrong when you're talking about new devices, and in this case, it had to be the device because I tried others and they worked just fine.
Right. You know what's really cool is today's devices can be updated. You know, when we got into this 20 years ago, Rolando, headsets and speakerphones, once they were out there, they were out there. There was no way to, you know, it wasn't an IP endpoint. There was no way to update.
There was no app for it, really.
Yeah.
There was no way to update it. That was it. They're out there. You had to send it back to the factory, and the factory sent you the new firmware upgrade. The new like version 1.2 was sent by the factory to you rather than 1.1 or 1.0.
Right. I think I prefer the firmware option that we have today.
For sure. Well, let's jump, Dave, right into day 15 when I provide a next update. And Ori, go ahead and roll that footage. All right, y'all, it's day 15. I've got an update for you. So I'm noticing that these earbuds, both left and right, are moving around on me a little bit. So just making a note of it so that you know around the 15-day mark, I'm noticing some changes, especially with the earbuds and how they are in my ears. So I'll pay more attention to see if that fixes itself or if I've got to make some changes, but I promise to bring you more updates. Yeah, so one of the important things there was that I found that the earbuds started to move around. And it didn't happen day 1, day 2, the first week, day 8 or 9, but I've started noticing them. But you know, Dave, I think the temperature changed. You can see I'm outside with sweater and whatnot. When I first got them and I used them indoors, I found that they were not moving as much as they are. And I've got some updates on that as well. But
Yeah.
this, from what I could see, is somewhat normal. But I suspect that being inside where it's warmer and then being outside and it's colder, both my ears, they do, you know, they move a little bit, they constrict a little more. And the feel and fit are going to be different when you're going from very warm to very hot.
Yeah, good point. So just to revise, I know this, I mean, just to kind of go back to when you had unboxed the product, there's more than just one pair of ear gels that are in there, right?
That is correct. So in the box, they come with a set from large, medium, and small. And you can go ahead out of the box. I believe they're on the medium size, and they've got the large and small in here. And I played around, and for some people, they will find that the ear hole sizes aren't exactly the same for left and right. And that's something that I had to do was play around with those ear gels. And that's usually, if you go to jabra.com, that's the first thing they're going to recommend is take a look at that. Also, see how it fits in the ear. And not everybody has the same ears. And I'll tell you, this is the first set from a Jabra set. And you know, I have this on my desk. From the 65T. I tried the 65Ts, too big. Couldn't get them in. I couldn't get them in. Now the the 7 Elite are smaller. They're more compact. It's hard to really notice it against my hand. But here's the 7 on this end. And this side is the 65T. And the new 7 is considerably smaller. Let me see. Let's get a little closer to the camera. Ooh, will that work? I can't. There we go.
There you go.
So this is the 7. This is the 65T. You could see
Oh, for sure.
they're not quite the same size when I put them next to each other. Here's the 7. Here's the 65. The 65s, for me, you need to you have Dumbo ears or Dumbo ear canals. 7s work so much better in terms of fit. They made it more miniature. So I can get them in, period. These 65Ts, no chance. Not even if I took the silicone gel ear tips out, Dave, they weren't fitting. It was just too big. So that didn't work for me at all. And I still have them on my desk because I like to demonstrate to folks that not everybody has the same ear size. And sometimes things just don't fit right. And
Yeah.
A big improvement here on the Elite 7.
You know, as it's funny how just a slightly smaller what word am I looking for? Frameage of the product, or just shaving off just a minuscule amount of material can make a huge improvement. I think a lot of folks out there that have been testing different earbuds, they can relate to that. Some folks, if they've tried 2 or 3 different solutions, they know that's something that they have smaller ear canals. So it's
Right.
nice to know that if they've tried what were they? The Elite 75s?
65.
65.
The 65.
So if you've tried the Elite 65, and if you found that to be a little too large, definitely consider that the nomenclature, the Elite 7 Active. Did I get that
three
right?
times fast, Dave?
Oof. It's nice to know that those are a little bit smaller and they seem to fit your ear a little bit better.
No, that the fit and comfort are much more improved, and I can actually use them. Whereas before, forget about it. Forget about it, Dave. There was no shot that was happening. Not a chance. So that was day 15. They started feeling different. So you may start noticing the differences of using these earbuds right around that 2-week mark, depending on how often you use it. I said that the comfort and fit and feel were quite better for me. Something that I mentioned on the last round that we had the Jabra Elite 7s on was that I find that using them for 1 to 2 hours is fairly comfortable. beyond that, I measure that those in Netflix binge episodes. I can get to about the third episode on Netflix is about my limit, and that's it. I got to take them out.
Get a little sore.
It gets sore. Now, this is where everybody's a little bit different, but for me, I get to that third episode on Netflix, Dave. That's it. I'm calling it a day or a night.
One thing I do want to say about that demo, the audio that you're pushing out, that's the audio that is produced from the microphone in this Jabra earbud. Correct?
So let's also correct that, Dave, because people are going to think that audio was really good. That audio. So if you want to hear what the audio sounded like when I'm actually talking into the camera, you want to go to our 7-day experiment, or we could probably put that link out right here on the chat for everybody, as well as the clips that we did in the first installment, which was days 1 through 7. We actually get audio from the Jabra 7 Elite. These clips are all from a microphone, a separate microphone. It's very similar to the one I've got underneath here in my shirt, where I'm capturing the audio. So yes, I'm wearing the earbuds in days 8 through 30, but we're not using the audio from that.
Listen, I do want to plug some of the other episodes that we've shot. If you want to see products being tested with the noise cancellation feature, we have a few different segments that we've done. We'll make sure that we include those in the description as well.
Well, Dave, that leads me to my next point, to go ahead and bump the like button. I haven't done that one in a while, but Dave, that one's for you. Hit them all. And actually, you can hit something I just realized. If you're watching this on YouTube, and you're whether live or later on, you can actually save this and watch it later. There you go. So that you have all the information you need. You know, Dave, I've done that before, and I forget to mention it when we go live. If you don't have time, hit the save button, and it'll save to your watch later folder, and you just watch it whenever you can, and you catch up on this episode.
Great.
All right, so let's jump into day 17 when I have another update. So on day 17, you know, started playing around with you guys when we talked during our daily interaction, and the rest of the guys and gals on the team, using it for work purposes. Because one of the other things people want to know, hey Dave, if I use this, can I use this with Teams? Can I use it with my computer? I want to use it for Zoom. What happens? You know, do I get a good audio experience? And what about people listening to me if I've got to talk? What do they hear? So on day 17, let's go ahead and roll the footage from day 17 on that update. Go for it, Ori.
Hey y'all, it's day 17 of my 30-day experiment using the Jabra Elite 7 active earbuds. So today, like normally in the mornings, I have a call with my logistics team, and we talk about different things. So on that call, I'm using the Jabra Elite 7 connected through the PC, and we're on Google Meet. We use Google Meet here. And so as I'm on the video talking to my colleagues, they're telling me that they could hear my little one from the kitchen, and I'm here in my home office, in my studio, and they could hear other noises. So this report, this update really is to let you know that if you're going to use these Jabra 7 Elite series earbuds for work, you may want to know that the noises around you don't get filtered out very well compared to other Bluetooth headsets that I've used. I've used a bunch of Bluetooth headsets. Some, like this style of headset that have a boom, are going to be better suited for those folks that are going to want to use something for the business side of things. The Elite earbuds so far, they've done a phenomenal job listening to music, listening to a podcast, being on YouTube or listening on YouTube to different things, music or whatever. But when it comes to using them for a business app like Google Meet, Zoom, or something else where those kinds of noises would disturb the rest of your colleagues or even clients that you're talking to, may not be a great usage of this type of earbuds. This would be great if you're out and about listening to stuff, but I definitely right now would not recommend it based on the feedback I got today from my colleagues on my Zoom call and my Google Meet call. So I just let you know so that you have that. I will keep testing and provide you more updates in the next installment of this 30-day series.
There you have it, Dave.
Hey,
And that's one of those things that we wanted to answer during this 30-day experiment. What if you use it for work? Well, there's your answer. If you have dogs, kids, other noises, those microphones, the microphones that are on the Jabra 7 will pick those up because it's a recessed microphone, and almost everything with the recessed microphone is going to pick up a lot more ambient sound around you because your voice is going forward and sideways, and it's trying to pick that voice up. Whereas a Bluetooth headset that has a boom, it's right there. It's right near, here, go to the white shot, don't worry. It's right there. It's right by your mouth. Let me just put it on my head. See? So it's gonna pick up the audio coming right out of here more than it is all of what's around you like a bubble. So if you are that person, you're looking to use this for Teams, Zoom, or any of those things, if you're in listen-only mode and you're never gonna participate, it'll work. But let me caution you, Dave, as we have with other Bluetooth devices, not all Bluetooth devices and laptops play nice.
right? That's true. That's
On
true.
my Mac, it worked. But we have found on other devices, other laptops, other desktops, that's not the case. And there is no compatibility guide for this. And none of the manufacturers, Jabra, Plantronics, nobody has a compatibility guide PC-wise when it comes to these earbuds. So for me, it worked in listen-only mode, watching Netflix. But once I started to talk, I don't know, you could share what you were hearing when you were interacting with me.
Yeah, we have a relationship we have company culture where we accept the fact that there's going to be some background noise. We give the best tools that we can to our employees. We love to test the different products, but there's definitely some form over function when it comes to the earbuds. It's nice to be on video and not have to show this large microphone in front of your face. If you're in a private office with a controlled, environment, it'd probably work just fine. But that's not the working environment that we have. So from the listener's experience, when you've tested those, yeah, you know what, we could hear a lot of what's going on in the background. Sometimes it's comical, slightly, it takes us off track a little bit. No hard feelings, but it does kind of change the conversation and the tempo of a meeting when you know what's going on in the background. So for folks that are looking for the ultimate noise canceling office product, these pair of earbuds, they're probably not geared towards you. You're probably looking at something different. But I tell you, you still always seem to sound pretty good when you're inside the office talking, regardless if there is some background noise. Your audio coming to the team always sounds good.
Right. Well, thank you. And that's also because I'm aware that how much distractions can be to others. And, sometimes, Dave, if we just step back a little bit and look at how we interact with others, like you said, it's an important thing because distractions can lead others to feel a little bit disconnected. It creates friction. And if you're dealing internally with colleagues, the situation is different than altogether different when you're dealing externally and you're dealing with clients, you're dealing with suppliers or partners or other folks that interact with you that are outside the organization. They're going to be maybe less forgiving because you're presenting your brand. And why wouldn't you want to present the best you and the brand you're representing, whether your organization is small or a behemoth, right?
Yep. Nope, that completely makes sense.
And so that leads to day 22, an update from day 15 and 17. And Ori, go ahead and roll that footage.
It's day 22 of using these Jabra 7 Elite Active Series earbuds. And guess what? The problem that I talked about earlier is not going away. So the earbuds are starting to move around a little bit more from using them from when I'm actually watching Netflix or some other thing online, and maybe I'm snacking and my jaw's moving. I'm noticing that they're just not as secure as the first week that I got them. So at this point, I'm going to reach out to Jabra and see if they have any suggestions, as well as looking online to see if other people are reporting the same problem, and I'm going to bring those updates back to you in my next installment.
That's an important test, Rolando. These are not inexpensive products. So if they're constantly falling out, you potentially have the risk of losing one.
You're right. And I was out on the trail one day, and one of them popped out. The left one popped out.
5-second rule.
And so I just grabbed it. If we were to always try to look for the positive side of things, and that is that it kept working. And with some earbuds, if you only use one of them, it's either the left or the right. With the Jabra, the Jabra Elite 7, they work independent of each other. So whether you have the right or the left in, you could still listen to that podcast. You could still use it in the car. But for me, as I was out and about and was jogging, I noticed that one of them did come out. I also, as you saw in that clip, I do watch some Netflix, and I was eating, and all of a sudden I just felt it getting looser and looser and looser, and something to do with the jaw. And I noticed, so I went on Jabra's website. They do have some pointers on this, and they tell you the fact that the placement of your ear to your jaw and the proximity of that stuff, that does affect how it sits and stays in your ear. So you have to accept that this may happen. You may be like me, or maybe not. You may not be like me. You may have a big caveman jaw, and there's a lot of separation between your ear canal and your jaw. And so now that won't affect it at all. But that was my experience. But I want to let you know, so that if you have had this happen in the past and want to know if it's going to happen again, well, for me, it did happen.
Yeah, I've heard with some earbuds from Jabra and other manufacturers, kind of the way it goes in and a slight rotation.
Yep.
For some will almost lock it in. I've used Jabra Sport earbuds for a very long time, and I've given them as Christmas gifts and holiday gifts. And I've had to tell those folks that give it just a little turn forward, and it kind of like locks in, because I can use some earbuds, do that test that you just did where you kind of were shaking upside down, and they just inspire the confidence to go about your day and do your thing, and they're not going to fall out and hit the ground.
Right. Well, that's right now the only knock that I have on it. Other than that, they seem to be performing well. And besides the multi-point feature that is not there, which a lot of folks want to have, that, like you said, that allows me to connect either two mobile phones or my mobile and my computer, so that way I can answer either one of them. Whenever they come out with that take it from a good headset to a really, really good headset. And I think that a lot of these other manufacturers were, back in the day, the ability to have multi-point was kind of, wow, it's only the high end. That's starting to happen with other manufacturers. They're putting in multi-point. They're putting active noise canceling. So it's no longer the case that active noise canceling and multi-point make you the gold standard. I think a lot of other earbuds have that in place right now.
Yep, I agree. I would think part of the one thing that really is different between each brand is that design, because they, it's patented and trademarked, so they all kind of do their own separate thing with the design, which may be good for some and not so good for others.
Right. Well, and to put a bow on this, during this whole time, me trying to figure out what the heck is going on, both with this bug as well, the bug with the audio shutting down, as well as the fit, I was able to get a hold of Jabra to get answer. To me, the most pressing was the bug. So what I want to show you now is my interaction with Jabra and how they handled this whole thing when I asked them for support. So go ahead, Ori. There we go. So what I have is just me talking here about me getting on with the business of trying to do this 30-day piece, which was, here's the culmination of what's going on. And Ori, do we have any sound from some of that, or are we just rolling some of that interaction? Okay, so we're rolling the interaction. So I'm just talking here about my 30-day experience, and we actually went online. I submitted a case. Something important, Dave, that I did not know. Jabra does not provide customer support on weekends. which surprises me given the everyday environment of 24/7. There we go. Monday through Friday only, 8 to 6 p.m. I would have thought maybe, okay, go for it, Ori.
See what we find. All right, so I'm going to go right to their website. See, so I've already gone ahead and submitted a ticket. I still don't have a response yet, so let's go get the phone and we're going to go ahead and give them a call.
So this is a little bit of my interaction with them and how long it took from beginning to end. So that's what you're looking at here is I'm on hold. I was on hold probably eight minutes, I want to say, or very close to 8 minutes. And then about eight and a half minutes is when I start getting a voice communicating with me. Melanie, shout out to Melanie at Jabra, who did a very good job of taking the call and walking me through a few suggestions. And then she actually told me, Dave, that I did not have the latest firmware. Now on day 11, turned out that they had not pushed an update. And it was only several days before I made this video here that they actually pushed out an update. Now I do have the update now here, and I had another unfortunate problem as we're getting ready for this, leading up to this.
Perfect.
The phone that I used
All
for the
right,
original
so,
experiment
I've got
cracked.
that case number, so if it doesn't resolve, I can just call back and see if this fixes the issue, and then, okay. All right, well, I will see if this takes care of. Hopefully that's it, and he won't have to hear back from me on this. Thank you. I appreciate that. Have a good day.
So they had a firmware release in that very short period of time. So it sounds like they're on the ball with updates.
Right. So from day 11 to day 30, in somewhere in there they had a firmware, actually just days before my taping of that 30-day, because I said, so when did you guys release it? He's like, oh yeah, just last week. I'm like, yeah, no wonder, because I had not checked it in a few days. And sure enough, this is the thing that you have with a company like Jabra and Poly and some of the others, is you have the ability to get that firmware update, as Dave was talking about, push right over to your phone. You just need that app, the Jabra Sound app, and it took about 20 minutes for it to update itself. And as I was trying to tell you, Dave, before we showed the clip, so right after I did that upgrade, guess what happened? My phone screen cracked. So I couldn't get around to using all the apps, and we tried to get it in for this show, but we couldn't. So what I promise I will bring you is, maybe we could post it later on, is will that firmware upgrade actually fix the bug? They're saying it will, but I won't put my name on it, my stamp of approval, until I see it work in action. So that's my promise to you. Stay tuned. So if you're watching this live or later on the playback, in the playback, you'll have links in the description to that update. All right.
So Rolando, a lot of folks will ask when calling for technical support, was this an outside, could you tell if it was an outsourced support center or if these were actually
no, this was
a call center?
This surprised me. So one, the first surprise was that they didn't have weekend support like Apple does, where you can have support on the weekend or actually schedule a call. And the biggest competitor, really, for Jabra is Apple, the AirPods, period, end of story.
Yep.
They're 1 and 2, depending on what market that you're in. So if customer support is something of a concern to you, you can walk into any Apple store and get support. You can actually schedule a call and also get support whenever you want, Monday through Sunday from Apple, as well as do online chat. So that's another con, I would say, on the Jabra column. But on the positive side, my interaction with them was good. Melanie was knowledgeable. She seemed to know what she was talking about. I will only know for sure if that actually solved the problem once I'm able to get my replacement phone, which is coming here in any day, and then let you know. But from a support standpoint, it's US-based support. I would imagine that they may have been working from home or out of the Lowell, Massachusetts office, which is just outside of Boston, which is very close to where you're at.
Yep. Yep. You know, I would say one of the pros that you had highlighted during the testing was certainly the fact that you could take either earbud out and use the other independently. Talk to a
Mhm.
lot of folks that are in the situation where they need something, but they can't let it cover up both ears.
Mhm.
And with previous generations of Jabra earbuds, you could maybe take out just the left one, but not either or. So the flexibility is really there to appeal to the individual.
You know, Dave, something else that you just mentioned that I would be remiss not to point out is that on Jabra's website, they do a very thorough job of trying to get the self-support piece of it going so that you have what you need. And in probably 70 to 75% of the cases, that's going to be the case. What I will tell you is if you want that telephone support, it's not very obvious when you go right to their support site. It is not. It is just not obvious because they want you to go ahead and do some self-love, so to speak, and figure it out, or have one of their videos or their articles tell you what to do.
Sure, and I'll tell you, I don't disagree with that approach. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of folks that want to try to fix and diagnose their own particular problems. I just want to highlight that we've actually done many videos from Jabra to EPOS to Yealink and Poly and Conftel,
Tell, yep.
where we show you all individual videos on how to get support on
Right.
all of those brands. So
We
we'll
show
make sure
you-
we put those descriptions, put that into the description.
Absolutely. So hold it there, Ori. Go back a few seconds. Let me say the support number. So just in case you were waiting to hear the secret on how to get support from Jabra, because this is several menus into the support when I did it. The number is on the screen. You can screenshot it, take care of it, put it down, write it down. And for those listening to me, I'm gonna say it to you verbally so that you have it. That number for support, the hidden secret number, now that you're in the know, secret handshake is 1-800-327-2230. I'm going to repeat that again. This support line, US support, as of right now, for Jabra is 1-800-327-2230. Remember, this is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. East Coast time, and they have a bunch of holidays that they are not available. So if there's a holiday that falls in the year, Monday through Friday, probably would imagine like your Labor Days and your Memorial Days and all of those type of days, if they fall in on Monday through Friday, you won't be able to get support, at least phone support. Otherwise, you have the app, you have the online, which is email, and they also have the social media site that they send you to if for whatever reason you want to get a hold of them that way.
So listen, Rolando, with wearable technology, especially wearable audio technology, there's always going to be some pros and cons. Did we miss any pros and cons from your 30-day experience?
I think we covered the pros and cons, but I think what you're trying to ask, Dave, is would I keep these Jabra Elite 7 or would I send them back?
That's
Drum
that's what
roll.
the world. That is what the world wants to know.
Here's what I would say. Look, I'm a person that I'm on the computer. I'm also on my mobile phone. I am also multitasking. I'm also going outdoors, as you saw in those clips. For me, those are two separate roles. When I'm at work and I want to do work, and when we collaborate and the teams that we work on, I'm going to stick with something like this. Bluetooth that has a boom. I'll call it BB, Bluetooth with a boom. This works better for what I'm doing. I get up and down. I've got little one, and I've got the noise and this and that. I need that for work because I don't like people telling me I can't hear you, I don't understand you. It just drives me batty.
Right,
So for that I wouldn't use it. But if you want something small, sleek, while you're watching your Netflix, while you're listening to your favorite podcast like What the Teck, hey, this little guy is going to do the job. it's going to be just fine. So for me, it would be like a second or my secondary headset if I want to go into the gym, that kind of thing. Does the job really well for that. But for me, I'm going to stick with my BB, Bluetooth with Boom, for my business stuff. And then for my play stuff, and I'm walking on the trail or going out to the gym or whatever, these earbuds are a very good choice for being outdoors or being out and about.
Well,
I would keep it. I would keep it for that.
Rolando, that's a great review. I'm glad that you would keep it. I have a few people in mind that I would like to give that to as a gift. You know, these are folks that are looking more for that active out of the office experience, not using it so much for meetings and phone calls within the office. So I definitely have a group of people that would definitely love a product like that. I think I'm going to get a couple, wrap them up, get them under the Christmas tree. Hey, listen, we want to have remind the viewers, if you like this video, bump that like button, subscribe to our channel, send us a message through LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever else you're viewing us. If there's any products that you would like to see a review on, please let us know. And if you're if you want to see some other content that we've put together, we have some other episodes here that you can see. A lot of testing. We got some interviews. Please take the time.
There we go. And Dave and I will join you in these videos where we have more on the Jabra Elite 7, as well as a head-to-head between EPOS and Jabra. We'll see you then.